Hi, welcome to Spec Hunter. I've been daily driving the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 for over a week now. After using it every day, I can say I'm genuinely impressed, and I don't say that lightly. I've used every Galaxy Fold model since the original. I've also tested devices like the Oppo Find, OnePlus Open, Honor Magic V2 and V3, the super slim Honor Magic V5, and the Pixel Fold and Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Out of all of them, the Fold 7 is my favorite so far, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. There are still a few issues. Three main problems stood out to me. Surprisingly, the thickness is not one of them. The first and most serious issue is outdoor visibility. The phone gets very hot, especially when using the camera or recording video in warm weather. In around 34 degrees Celsius, the screen dimmed after just a couple of minutes of use. It dropped to what felt like only 10% brightness. Even with extra brightness turned on, the screen was barely visible. I'm not alone in this experience. Others in my Samsung group had the same problem, except one person still using the Fold 6. It might be due to the new cooling system. Reports online said Samsung removed the vapor chamber. Instead, they used a large, high-density graphite sheet, which covers more surface area. Samsung says it's an upgrade, but vapor chambers generally cool better. The Galaxy S25 Ultra, for example, uses one and handles heat well. The iPhone 16 Pro Max only uses graphite and gets very hot too. This means that in direct sunlight, your experience with the Fold 7 will be limited. If you're just taking a quick photo or scrolling for a minute, it's okay. But after 2 minutes, it dims significantly. If you want to fix this, Samsung's Good Lock app has a new display module. It may help maintain brightness even when the phone is hot. I haven't had the chance to test this much due to the cloudy UK weather, but it's worth exploring. The second issue I noticed is the telephoto camera. This module hasn't changed much. We've got a solid 200 megapixel main sensor and a new 12 megapixel ultra-wide with a larger sensor, which is quite good. But the 3x telephoto is still outdated. It's just 10 megapixels and has a very small sensor, even smaller than the one in the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and the Pixel has a 5x optical zoom lens, which makes its zoom performance better. On the Fold 7, the zoom quality is fine in bright daylight, up to 3x or 5x, but after that the image quality drops fast. And at night, the telephoto photos turn out very blurry. That's because the sensor is so small it needs a longer exposure time, and that often leads to soft or shaky images. I really wish Samsung had upgraded this camera. Honor, for example, uses a 64 megapixel 3x camera with a much bigger sensor. The results are clearly better. But to be fair, Samsung kept the camera bump relatively compact. It's off to the side, so it doesn't get in the way when the phone is closed. Honor's bump is much larger and makes the phone hard to hold. That's not the case with the Fold 7. Still, this side camera setup leads to another issue. Table wobble. It's very noticeable. When you lay the phone flat on a table, it rocks a lot. This is the worst wobble I've seen on any phone. A camera bump is thick, almost as thick as the closed phone itself. Of course, a case can fix this, but that adds more bulk. And this phone's thin profile is one of its best features. So these are the three main issues. I've faced bad screen visibility in the sun, an outdated telephoto camera, and annoying table wobble. There's also one more thing I want to address. Many people are disappointed that Samsung removed S Pen support. Personally, this didn't bother me. I rarely use the S Pen on previous phones. On the Ultra, I used it once or twice. On the Fold, I barely touched it. It was never built into the device. You had to carry it separately or use a bulky case, which wasn't worth it for me, but I understand why others are upset. Removing features in a new, more expensive phone is frustrating, especially when brands like Oppo and Honor still support pens, even on thinner foldables. They even allow pen input on both displays. So while it's not a big deal for me, I see why it matters to others. There's also the inner camera placement. It's now in the middle, and I wish it were placed in the top corner. That would have made more sense. But that's a small detail. Other than that, most of my experience with the Fold 7 has been very positive. Let's move to the parts I really enjoyed. Starting with the battery life. I expected average performance because the battery is only 4,400 mAh. That's smaller than what we see in many Chinese foldables, some of which go up to nearly 6,000 mAh. And they use advanced silicon carbon batteries, which Samsung still hasn't added, maybe next year. Still, I was surprised to get strong results. I ended most days with around 25% battery left. That was with medium to high usage. The S25 Edge ended at about 20% for me, and I wasn't even using it as heavily. The Oppo Find 5 did a little better, around 35% left, but that phone has a bigger battery and uses different battery tech. So, given the size, I think the Fold 7 performs very well here. The main camera also impressed me. I took lots of shots during my trip to Samsung Unpacked. It felt very similar to the S25 Ultra, especially the main sensor. Photos were sharp, full of detail, and looked good even in regular 12-megapixel mode. Colors were natural and not overly saturated. Thanks to the big sensor, you also get some natural background blur without needing portrait mode. And in bright light, you can switch to the full 200-megapixel mode and capture even more detail. I took a picture of some street art, and when I zoomed in, you could see every little line and paint texture. It looked incredible. One of the best things about using a foldable is that you can take selfies with the main camera. You just open the phone halfway and use the outer screen to frame your shot. The image quality is miles better than any normal selfie camera. That's a big advantage if you take a lot of self-portraits or group shots. But what I love most about the Fold 7 is how it feels. This is the best feeling foldable I've ever held. It's super thin, just 4.2 millimeters when open and 8.9 when closed. That's almost as slim as the Honor Magic V5, but the Fold doesn't have that huge camera bump that makes it hard to hold, and it's also very light. At just 215 grams, it's the lightest foldable of its kind. It feels great in the hand and slips into a pocket easily. You barely notice it's there. The hinge is also improved. It's smoother than the Fold 6, but still strong. It opens and closes easily but feels solid. It's sturdier than the hinges. On Oppo and Honor foldables, that gives it a premium feel. One small drawback is that the body scratches easily. If you wear rings like I do, especially something like the Galaxy ring, be careful. I already noticed some small scratches. My iPhone had the same issue, but my Oppo Find didn't. That one has a tougher back finish. So if you want to keep the Fold 7 looking new, you'll probably need a case or skin dot, so should you buy the Fold 7? If you're looking for a foldable phone, I'd say yes, this is the best one you can buy right now. It's not perfect. The battery could be bigger. The telephoto and ultra-wide cameras could be better. And the phone still gets hot under the sun. But when you look at the full package, the Fold 7 comes out on top. The Oppo Find 5 has better battery life, but you can't buy it easily outside of China. The Honor Magic V5 is even thinner and has great cameras, but the software isn't as good. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold has strong software and a solid zoom camera, but it's thicker and heavier than the Fold 7. The Fold 7 strikes the best balance. It has great software, a strong main camera, reliable performance, and an amazing design. It's thin, light, and easy to hold. And most importantly, you can buy it almost anywhere. So if you're into foldables, I highly recommend the Galaxy Z Fold 7. It's the best complete package available right now. Thanks for watching. If you found this review helpful, don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss an update.